Tonight on Skyline, the stories are explosive. The stories are uncomfortable, impossible to ignore. From shocking claims inside America's top investigation agency to rising tension in West Asia. From Mr. Trump facing major legal setbacks to Indian students and workers worrying about their future in the United States. Tonight's show, it connects power, politics, money, war, immigration, and global uncertainty in one dramatic chain of events. I am Driti Atri, and this is Skyline. America's top investigation agency is suddenly talking about whiskey bottles instead of investigations. Yes, no plans, no espionage, no cybercrime, whiskey, bourbon. Well, that's a personalized alcohol gift, and at the center of this storm is again Mr. Kash Patel, the man leading the FBI under their president, Mr. Donald Trump. And according to a bombshell report by The Atlantic, Mr. Patel has reportedly been gifting personalized bourbon bottles carrying the word Kash Patel, the FBI director. The bottle allegedly includes his personal logo and the FBI shield. Now, let's just pause for a moment. This is FBI, an institution known for strict discipline and zero-tolerance approach towards alcohol misuse while on duty. And now, insiders are allegedly whispering what is happening to this institution. Now imagine this in a Trump tone. In fact, the reports also claim that these bottles came from Kentucky's famous bourbon brand Woodford Reserve. And then came the part that shocked many inside Washington. The whiskey was allegedly transported using a Department of Justice aircraft. Yes, a government plane. One report says that bottles would travel during Patel's Milan Olympics trip, where he was filmed celebrating and chugging beer with America's gold medal winner, their hockey team. Officials reportedly told The Atlantic that Mr. President Donald Trump, who famously does not drink alcohol, he was uncomfortable with the optics. But in America, image matters. And suddenly, FBI agents, they are talking about bourbon. Lawyers are talking about ethics. And former officials are talking about double standards. One former FBI employee, he even reportedly said that the whole situation demoralizing, while another described it as weird and uncomfortable. And then the story took a very strange turn. At an FBI event in Virginia, a training seminar involving recruits, officials, and even UFC-style martial arts session, one bottle, it reportedly went missing. One bottle. And according to former FBI agents, chaos erupted inside the bureau. There were reportedly fear of polygraph tests, investigation, threat of prosecution, and that too over a missing liquor bottle. Can you imagine being an FBI recruit? You join to fight crime in the US, and suddenly the office, it is in panic over disappearing bourbon bottle. Former officials say that morale inside the bureau, it is suffering. In fact, one retired analyst even warned that this frightens me for my country. Because when discipline inside FBI, that becomes questionable, America starts asking who is policing the police. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, the Persian Gulf is once again turning into a battlefield. Oil tankers, warship, missile, drones, and now America is preparing to relaunch something called Project Freedom. Sounds heroic, right? But aren't you wondering what it really is? Well, it is a US military naval operation designed to escort commercial ships very safely through one of the world's most dangerous waterway, the Strait of Hormuz. Well, this tiny strip of water controls nearly 20% of the global oil trade. If Hormuz stops, the world economy shakes. Petrol prices rise, market panics, shipping freezes. Now tensions are rising again between America, Iran, Gulf nations, and Israel. According to multiple reports, Iran had effectively turned parts of the waterway unsafe after continued US-Israeli military strikes. And that is when Washington launched Project Freedom. The mission began with a stranded cargo vessel called Alliance Fairfax. Now, for more than 2 months, that particular ship reportedly could not safely cross the Gulf. Then, American destroyers and helicopters stepped in. US military officials radioed, "You're all set to go. Safe travel." Sounds calm, right? But within hours, everything exploded. Iran reportedly launched missiles and drones across the Gulf. Commercial ships were attacked, oil infrastructure was hit, shipping lanes turned into combat zones. In fact, oil facilities in UAE, it was reportedly blasted. A Chinese tanker, it caught fire. South Korean and French operated ships, they were also damaged. Suddenly, the whole world realized that this is no longer just a regional conflict. This is now becoming a global trade crisis. And then came another shock. Saudi Arabia and Kuwait reportedly restricted some US military access temporarily. Now that created panic inside Washington because without Gulf cooperation, America cannot properly protect shipping routes, right? Now, after high-level calls between Mr. Trump and Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, the access has reportedly been restored. And now Project Freedom. It may return within days. But the bigger question is this: how long before one missile, one drone, one wrong move turns the whole Gulf into a full-scale war zone? Because history is repeating itself. In 1980s tanker war, if you remember, America escorted ships through these same waters. And today, the same ghosts are back. In the third major development in the US, back in the US, Mr. Trump has now suffered a major legal setback. Mr. Trump, he promised America economic nationalism, higher tariffs, trade wars, America first. But now an American court has reportedly ruled that Trump's new 10% global tariff, they were illegal. And this is huge because tariffs are not just taxes. They affect global trade, factories, jobs, and entire economies. Trump has used a law from 1974, by the way, to justify his tariffs. In fact, his administration argued that America faced very dangerous tariff deficit. But critics said that this is not an emergency, and now the court appears to agree. In a split 2-1 ruling, judges said that Mr. Trump incorrectly used the decades-old law. The ruling, it currently applies only to those who challenge the administration in the court. But politically, the damage, it's massive because Mr. Trump has built much of his economic image around fighting China, imposing tariff, and protecting American manufacturing. Now, opponents are calling this executive overreach. Businesses are confused, importers are worried, markets are watching very nervously, and Mr. Trump's legal team, it now might be appealing this whole ruling. But the bigger story is this: America's trade war politics are becoming unstable again. One court ruling and billions of dollars suddenly hang in uncertainty. Now, for global investors, this is very terrifying. Now, in the third segment, can you imagine this for a moment? You are packing for an international trip. Your bags, they are ready. Tickets are booked. The airport cab, it arrives, and suddenly your passport, it stops working. Not because of crime though, not because of any sort of mishandling, but because of unpaid child support. That's right, the US government has now launched a major crackdown. Thousands of Americans may soon lose their passports over unpaid child support debt. Officials say that people owing more than $100,000 will be targeted immediately. But soon the rule may expand to anybody owing more than $2,500. That means 1,000 more could be affected. The US State Department says that this particular policy is designed to force parents to meet responsibility towards their children. Officials claim that the program has already helped recover hundreds of millions of dollars. But critics say that this could trap struggling parents even further, right? Imagine losing travel access, losing your business opportunity, and being unstable to leave the country. All because of what? Debt. America is increasingly using travel documents as enforcement tool, and that changes the meaning of passport itself. Because a passport, it is no longer just identity. It is now a leverage. And yes, at the very same time, another massive technological change is quietly arriving. Apple has introduced a new digital ID system. Now, iPhone users in America, they can add passport information directly into their Apple Wallet. Yes, your passport inside your phone. No paper, no booklet, no physical ID at the airport checkpoints. Users simply can scan their passport, verify the identity, complete their facial authentication, and store the digital version inside their wallet. At airport security, travelers can just tap the phone near TSA scanners, and that's it. But before people celebrate, there's an important catch here. This digital ID, it cannot replace international passports and cannot be used for crossing the borders. Still, this is the future arriving in real time. Governments worldwide are moving towards digital identity, biometric verification, facial recognition, and paperless travel. Convenient? Yes, but also controversial because many people fear surveillance, hacking, privacy risk, and data tracking. Apple says all information remains encrypted on the device. But the debate, it has already begun. The question is no longer, can digital identity happen? The question is, how much control are we willing to hand over? Now, here comes the story that could deeply worry Indians dreaming of America today. Because H-1B visa is the backbone of Indian migration to the US tech industry, right? Thousands of Indian engineers, developers, IT professionals, and students depend on it. Now, Mr. Trump's administration wants to make H-1B workers significantly more expensive for the employers. An entry-level software engineer in San Francisco may reportedly need a salary of $162,000 every year. Now, in Dallas, it is $113,000. In New York, it is $132,000. And that's a massive jump. The administration here says that this will stop companies from hiring cheaper foreign labor instead of Americans. Supporters, in the meantime, they argue it protects the US workers, raises wage standard, and reduces exploitation. But critics, they warn that this could severely hurt young international talent, specifically Indians, because companies may simply stop hiring fresh graduates if salary requirement it becomes too high. Can you think about that for a moment? A company choosing between a local fresher and an international employee requiring visa sponsorship plus massive salary commitment, it will likely choose the cheaper option. So that means fewer opportunity, tougher hiring, and more uncertainty for the students already struggling. With layoffs, visa caps, immigration delays, everything, well, the tech dream in America, it is slowly becoming more expensive. And many Indians are now wondering if the American dream is slipping away or not. And finally, tonight, a warning for Indians who are planning a European vacation this summer. Paris, Rome, Amsterdam, Swiss Alps, every year, lakhs of Indians, they dream of Europe. But now, Schengen visa appointments, they are becoming extremely difficult to get. Travel experts say the demand between May and August, it has exploded. And appointment slots, they are disappearing fast. That means longer wait, delayed approval, uncertain travel plans, and possible airport chaos. Now for Indians, this is a serious issue because Europe remains one of the biggest summer destinations. Travelers are now being told to apply months earlier than usual. You know the problem, it does not end there. Europe is also rolling out its new digital entry-exit system. It is called EES. This particular system will electronically track non-European travelers. Well, sounds modern, but during rollout, airports may become slower. In fact, several countries including France, Germany, Italy, Sweden and Poland, they have already temporarily reintroduced border checks. Meaning, even inside Europe, travelers may face random passport inspections, additional screening and slower movement. Imagine finally getting your visa, landing in Europe and then facing long queues, security checks, airport congestion and border delays. So here we know Europe's tourism season is becoming more stressful than glamorous. And for Indian travelers who are planning last-minute trips, this summer could be very expensive and very unpredictable. And on that note, we end today's edition of Skyline. 7 stories, 7 warning signs, and 1 clear message. The world is becoming more unstable, more uncertain, and more divided than ever before. From Washington to West Asia, from visas to warfare, from digital identity to economic battle, the decisions being made today, it will shape millions of lives tomorrow. I'm Driti Atri. Thank you for watching Skyline. Stay informed, stay sharp, and we'll see you tomorrow.